Hi everyone, this is Kevin here, coming at you with my hands-on and first impressions video of the Moto G Stylus. This is one of the latest smartphones from Motorola, and I know it's a device that many of you have been very excited for, including myself. So let's dive on in and take a look at the device. So here is the box that the phone does come in, and I did buy this phone at Best Buy for $299. At the time of me recording this video, the phone isn't yet available on Amazon, but I will be adding a link in the video description to where you can get it on Amazon as soon as it's available. The Moto G Stylus is one of a variety of new smartphones that Motorola is launching, all kind of related to the Moto G8. I will be covering the Moto G Power very soon as well, so make sure to subscribe to the channel. But this is the box, so we'll open this up. And by the way, I already did set up everything on the phone itself for the sake of saving time. But we'll put the phone off to the side for a second here and see what all we get included. It looks like we have some literature here. So we have a SIM card removal tool. We have a Moto G Stylus quick start guide. And we have some regulatory information. And it looks like beyond that, we have a USB-C cable here included in the box, so very nice. And we have the wall adapter, so it's Motorola branded, and the wall adapter itself is 10 watts. So this is twice as powerful as the standard Apple adapter that you get with the iPhone 11. So here is the actual Moto G Stylus itself. So like I said, you can get the device right now for $299. This phone is also going to be making its way over to a variety of different US carriers as well. And those carriers are going to be offering different deals. So I think the majority of people out there most likely will not be paying the full price for the phone. So if you were able to snag this for a really good deal, then let me know in the comment section below. But if you do decide to buy the device factory unlocked, you are going to have the ability to use it with all 4 major US carriers. So you can use this phone with AT&T, Sprint, T-Mobile, Verizon, and all the various other carriers under those carriers. So if you use Mint Mobile, for example, you're good to go. Now the device features a large 6.4-inch display. Now the display itself is IPS LCD, so it's not AMOLED, unfortunately. The display is 1080p. We're getting a PPI of 399. We're getting a 19:9 aspect ratio, and we're getting an 83.7% screen-to-body ratio. So a pretty good screen to body ratio. We do have a little bit of a thicker bezel on the bottom of the phone here, but that doesn't bother me too much. It definitely looks like a very modern device. You can see up top here, we do have a hole punch for the front-facing camera situated off to the left side. So I think that's a great move by Motorola. And overall, the phone just looks really attractive and appealing. Now the front-facing camera is 16 megapixels, and definitely stay tuned for my full review of the phone to see photo and video samples from the device. But so far, for the brief time that I've been using the phone, it seems like the cameras on here are really good. Now we're getting 128 gigabytes of internal storage, so that's a lot of internal storage. It's really cool to see that even with some of the less expensive phones nowadays, we're getting a lot of storage. I know that the upcoming iPhone SE, which is $100 more expensive than this phone, only gives you 64 gigabytes. So the fact that you're saving money going this route and getting double the amount of internal storage really does say a lot. Now, if 128 gigs is not enough for you, the phone is compatible with microSD card expansion. So just go ahead, buy a microSD card. They're not too expensive. Put it in the phone, and you can store even more content on the device. Now there is no wireless charging with the Moto G Stylus, but we do have a fingerprint sensor on the back, and that does work really well. It's a very quick fingerprint sensor. The device also has face unlock as well, so if you're a fan of using that, or if you want to have both face unlock and the fingerprint sensor enabled, you can go ahead and do that too. But you have a bunch of different options to unlock the phone. Now on the back side of the device, we have a triple camera setup. I know it looks like there's a quad camera setup here, but that bottom circle is not a camera. Now we're getting a 48 megapixel main camera. We're getting a 16 megapixel ultra wide angle camera, which is known as their action camera. Now, even though it is an ultra wide angle camera, it is video only, and I'll explain why later on in this video. so you can't take ultra wide angle photos, unfortunately. And then the last camera is a 2 megapixel macro camera. Now you do get portrait mode with both the front and rear cameras, so that is very awesome. I know that I personally use portrait mode all the time, and I'm very excited to see how good the quality from these cameras are as soon as I finish recording this video. Now this device features 4 gigabytes of RAM, and we're getting the Qualcomm Snapdragon 665 processor. So 4 gigs of RAM is impressive. I remember it wasn't too long ago that some of the top of the line phones available gave you 4 gigs of RAM. And now we're getting it with a much less expensive option. And the Snapdragon 665 is a pretty decent mid-range processor from Qualcomm. Now I did run an Antutu benchmark test with the device, and you can see here I got an overall score of 165,528. So a pretty decent score there overall. Now to put things into perspective, this is the Samsung Galaxy S20 Ultra. Now this phone is a $1,400 device, and I got a score here of 555,004. So you are going to be getting, of course, slower performance with the Moto G Stylus, and certainly you can see here this number is pretty far apart from this number with the Ultra, but the fact that you can get this for a lot less money certainly makes sense why you're getting less performance here. But with this kind of score, you should expect the phone to run smoothly with the majority of casual tasks that you use it for. Now, if you are a power user, someone that spends all day on social media, you might get a little annoyed by the device being a little bit on the slower side compared to some of the flagships out there. But for 99% of people out there who use their phone to occasionally check social media, use Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff, and also browse the web and do other functions as well, this certainly is adequate. Now, the device features 4K video recording with the rear camera. Now, the action camera is limited at 1080p, but the 48 megapixel main camera can take 4K video. And then for the front camera, we are limited at 1080p. But that is impressive regardless. I remember it wasn't too long ago that none of these lower end phones had 4K video. Now with this phone, we're getting a 4,000 milliamp hour internal battery, so a pretty beefy battery there. The good news too is that the Snapdragon 665 is a very power efficient processor. So pairing that up with a large battery should, in theory, give you great battery life. Obviously, I gotta use the phone a little bit more I know that for sure. But another cool thing too is that since we do have 10-watt charging, you can recharge that 4,000 milliamp hour battery decently quickly. Now the software on this device is Android 10, and it is a near stock experience. Now Motorola has done some small modifications, but I like how things look and feel very stock on the device. I already did load up some of my applications on here, but otherwise, you're getting pretty much a purely Google experience. Now you do get some Motorola apps, like this app that's called Moto. There's also Moto Audio and Moto Note, but Moto Note is used in conjunction with the stylus on here, so it makes sense why that's present. Moto Audio, I'm not sure what that is. I gotta dive a little bit deeper into that, but I believe Motorola went out of their way to give this phone better speakers than your typical lower end device. So my point is that you're pretty much getting a purely Google experience here, and there's minimal bloatware on the phone. Now, if you do get this device through a carrier, you might get a bunch of stuff pre-installed, so don't go off of what I just said in every situation, but at least if you do buy this device unlocked, there really aren't too many pre-installed applications beyond what Google has to offer. Now it is currently April 21st of 2020. My Moto G Stylus is stuck on the February 1st, 2020 security patch. So unfortunately, this phone, despite it being one of the latest and greatest models from Motorola, hasn't yet gotten the most up-to-date patches. I know that since the February patch, we've gotten the March patch, and the April patch recently came out too. So come on Motorola, really speed things up here. Especially when you're already running a pretty close to stock version of Android. There's really no excuse why we shouldn't be getting those security patches every month. Now they might go with every other month. I'm not really sure what their schedule is for security updates, but it would be cool to see them give us those updates more often than not. Now this phone does not have NFC. That is something that I know quite a few people are going to be disappointed with, but if you don't care about NFC, then that's not a problem. Now taking a closer look at the hardware here, the front of the device looks really amazing. It's not the best or brightest display out there that I've ever seen, but I would say for the majority of people out there, they're going to be perfectly happy with it. Now, if you compare it to the display on the S20 Ultra, of course, being over $1,000 more expensive, yeah, this is a better display. And by the way, on both of these phones, I do have the brightness cranked up to 100%. But you can see the S20 Ultra is way brighter, it's way more vibrant, colors are better compared to the display here on the G Stylus. Now taking a look at the left side of the device, we just have the slot for the micro SD card and SIM card, and we do have an all plastic build, besides of course the glass on the front of the phone. Taking a look at the right side, we have the power button and we have the volume button. Then on the top, we have the noise canceling microphone. Then on the bottom, we have the 3.5mm headphone jack. We have the USB-C port for charging and data transfer. We have the microphone, speaker, and of course, the stylus. We'll talk about that in a second. Then on the back of the phone, we have the camera module, flash, we have the fingerprint sensor, and that's about it. This is the Mystic Indigo color, and I think it looks really cool overall, so I'm certainly a big fan of it. Now you might want to pair this up with a clear case, potentially, so that you don't scratch the back, but that's a choice that you're gonna have to make. But let's get to the good part. This is what everyone's been waiting for. The stylus. So the stylus is situated on the bottom of the device, and you have to pull it out. It's not like the Note where it kind of has like a click in and click out. You do have to just pull it out. And here it is right here. Of course, the stylus doesn't have as many features as the Note stylus either. And it kind of reminds me of the stylus that the LG Stylo 5 has, but this stylus does feel a bit heavier and higher quality than what you're getting with the Stylo 5. Now, as soon as you pull out the stylus, at least on this screen, you do have a little pop out on the side with some options here. You can go to Google Keep, you can go to some other applications, you can do the plus button to go over and create a new note. So yeah, you can draw on here, of course. And no doubt about it, this stylus is nowhere near as capable as the one that comes with the Note or the Apple Pencil, that's for sure. But considering that this is kind of a mid to lower end phone, I'm completely satisfied with what we're getting here. And I'll talk about this a lot more in other videos, but definitely if you're one of those people that really wants to have a stylus, for whatever reason it is, maybe you like to draw, maybe you like to take notes, maybe you don't like to get your greasy fingers all over the display. Whatever you like to use a stylus for, it is here for you. So overall, I'm very excited about the Moto G Stylus. I'm looking forward to making a variety of different comparison videos. I want to compare this phone to the LG Stylo 5. I want to compare it to the Samsung Galaxy A51. And I also want to compare it to some of the older Note devices like the Note 9, Note 8, because those devices have really gone down in price and are pretty similar to this phone in price. So maybe it's more worth it to buy an older Note than to buy a Moto G Stylus if your budget is just $300. But I hope you enjoyed this video. Definitely take a look at the links in the video description to see the most up-to-date pricing for the phone if you do want to buy it unlocked. But this is Kevin here. Let me know what you think. Give me any suggestions that you have as well about what other things you want me to cover in different videos about this phone in the future. But stay tuned. I've got tons of content about this coming out. But this is the Moto G Stylus. My name is Kevin. Sub to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, and I will see you in the next video.